the Nigerian. For today, I think most of what we have learned are things that touch on us, and I believe that everyone, even though those who are not here, would have learned a few things that they can begin to look at and check themselves and say, yes, I have a role to play. The United Nations have given us a chance as women. UN women have given us opportunities to bring out the best in us, support ourselves, and go for the goals that can give us sustainable development economically and socially. Talking today about, I'm here to raise issues or add to the issues discussed on mediation and domestic violence. I just want to say that before I go do that, I want to read something that I noted while we were talking. And it had to do with what one of those, an authority on family violence had said in 1996. His name is Galton. And I want to read it to all of us because I believe that it has a lot to do with where we are today in terms of sexual and domestic violence, or vis-a-vis family violence, and how we can help ourselves out of it. So I want to say that before we begin to take questions from all of you, those who may have questions to ask us, I will be quite willing to answer them as well. Galton in 1996 had said that family violence is a manifestation, and I want you to listen to that carefully, is a manifestation of generations of culturally learned behavior and attitudes that place aggression and dominance on par with leadership and success. Mrs. Odusoya did talk about things like that, but I also want to link it with what Mrs. Anima Shaun said about power and leadership. Well, the goals of SDG, the 17 goals of SDG include the empowerment of women, economic empowerment of women, freedom of human rights for women, freedom from violence, that is discrimination or any form of violence against women is discouraged. So we are looking at here, how can we make the world of women better in the family, in our society? How are we going to ensure that our women are not violated, our children are not violated? When our children go to school, they can go to school in a safe environment and come back peacefully. We do not have to follow them through all the processes. But then, the situations are different today. Mediation has been used in several family situations to bring about peace, because the two partners in a family relationship would have to, when disputes arise, mediation being what it is, it's there to make sure that there is a cordial family relationship again. So in this position, I would like to know if you have questions that you want to ask us. You have been told that, yes, I have, I'm engaged in a few NGOs, yes. In leadership, I will talk about that differently, because I also, like I belong to the 100 Women Lobby Group, and we have been poised to looking after women's participation in leadership positions and making sure that we identify that can be there to represent others. Everybody cannot be there, but one key issue is you have to come forward. You have to be bold enough to come forward and present yourself. And women should be able to recognize those strengths in other women that are around them and give them the necessary support to do so. Because we hear all kinds of excuses. We don't need excuses. We don't need pity party. We just want to be sure that, yes, Mrs. Ayodele is retired. She's a grandmother, and she still has potentials that she can bring to the table. And we should give her the support. Or that Sarah, in some years to come, has retired and wants, you know, a position like she's doing. She's pushing from the discussions we had. These are the kind of women we must be pushing forward to other women around them. We've talked on and on, but we would like to have questions from some of you, and we'll be glad to answer them. Thank you.
So how many questions do we have? 4 questions or comments?
Hello. Yeah, I have a comment. Mrs. Anima Shaun said something about women not taking up their rights, whether in the politics or other aspects of life. But I sincerely want to disagree on that on the basis that most times when the women come out and they say they are conducting primaries or whatever, they would have subdued the woman to the extent that even if you are trying to come out to show yourself, they will tell you to wait for your time. So it's not as if we women are sitting down and allowing the men to do it, but they have a way of manipulating whatever they are doing right from their caucus meeting or whatever. So we women, I'm sure we are always ready to do the work, but the men are always looking for a way to subdue us by rigging the primaries and all sorts of things. I was a victim. That's why I decided to talk. Thank you.
Good afternoon, all. I'm Obiamaka Aga. Please, my question is for the second speaker, that's Ms. Odusanya. You gave us a lecture saying that mediation is a tool for settlement of domestic violence cases most times, especially sexual violence. Now, my question is, in fact, I have 2 questions. You did say that mediation will be used to settle some cases, some criminal cases that are minor offenses. Now, my question is sexual, that's number 1. Now, number 2, you talked of compromise during this mediation. Who is going to compromise in this particular situation? Let's imagine that a girl of 10 was violated by her father. I don't see the mediation there. In fact, I really don't understand, ma. So please, I would like you to throw more light on it. Who is compromising and who is... I don't get. Thank you, ma.
I have to do selective contributions now because I didn't ask for hands from this. So I'm going to take the 4 hands that I saw up. Please forgive me.
Thank you. My name is Chidera. I want to talk about, you spoke on mediation on domestic violence. There are so many forms of domestic violence. We didn't even talk about the economic domestic violence, where a man gives money of 1,000 naira and he's expecting 10 million naira soup. Hey, those ones are there too. So we need to talk about those things. And mediation, just like what my sister talked about, I don't see the mediation in it that, okay, your background is that they encourage you to beat a woman so that she will have sense. Okay, when she annoys you, what of when you annoy her? And there's a mediation in it. Me, I even want to get this topic of mediation, since it's a dispute resolution mechanism. And I believe as a lawyer that is the most one that will solve the problem that should be followed. Not necessarily that it is litigation. So we need to emphasize where does such instances. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chidera.
Good evening, everyone. Say one thing. Second to the last speaker, she was saying something about why you are being in politics, they are trying to subdue you. I'm of the contrary opinion. In their midst, there's nothing. I am. Even while I was coming to this place, there was a meeting that meant for leaders. They said, the law, you must be there, you must be there. If you don't agree, if you don't see yourself as a woman, see yourself as a man in their midst, they will never take you for a ride. Thank you. Then on the other side, I want to say something. The abuse and the abuser. In most cases, when the abused is somehow, then the abuser himself, and be there. If you don't agree, see it as an inhuman behavior. To let us emphasize on how to get the abuser out of that. Thank you.
Last one.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chineye Orago. Mine is just a short comment.
In most cases, when the abused is somehow, then the abuser himself, an offense, see it as an inhuman behavior. To let us emphasize on how to get the abuser out of that. Thank you.
Last one.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chineye Orago. Mine is just a short comment. I'm still hard put to understand how mediation can be a dispute resolution mechanism for sexual harassment, even for maybe domestic violence. I can understand it a little, maybe because they are family members and all. But someone comes and rapes somebody, and you say that they should go to mediation and settle it, so that the man works. So the man pays her $1 million and then works and rapes other people. So I really want to, because I've taken a course. It's really is not in line with this. So I want to understand how that works. Thank you.
So we have one suggestion before we take a from the panel members.
Thank you. I am Tolu Lokbe Onide from Kwara State. I work with Office of Public Defender. My suggestion is this. We've had sessions and we always go back. All talk about mentoring. I think before we leave this place, practical steps should actually be taken on the person or persons that you will decide to mentor, or you want to take as somebody that will mentor you, so that we don't just come and waste our time and then come next year again.
A charge has been new that at the end of this conference, we will have a position paper or a communique on what AWLA wants to do about the major issues that have been discussed here. And it should be global, it should touch on Africa. So I'm going to take reactions from all the panel members at once, please. I'll start with you.
Okay. There are so many things that can be responsible for not encouraging you to take place in. First of all, let me acknowledge that I'm just here. My chairman, the chairman of Nigerian Bar Association, who also is a man, is supposed to be on this panel. So because I'm the vice chairman and is unavoidably absent, and because God has a purpose for the potential things I did, because of time that I did not touch on, is funding, things that are maybe responsible for discouraging women for joining to be in power. Funding cultural and religious discrimination. Women perception of politics, that politics is a dirty game. And that if you're in politics, you're a partner in crime. And also political violence, lack of self-confidence, marginalization of women in political leadership. You, just like somebody commented, you just have to settle that in your mind, failure does not mean that you should not try again. In fact, you learn a lot. I just boasted now that I'm going to be the next chairman of Nigerian Bar Association. And a lot of people, like the women, they are even discouraging me. Some women are discouraging me. They say, don't go now. I said, I want to be the first woman chairman of my branch. But that does not mean that it is between life and death. If you little things, you must have been showing yourself. Like she said, they will know you, they know what you stand for. Like she just announced now that they are looking for people who can represent women. And I'm sure she has taken down parts of this order. What do you do in that conference like this you attend? You will have to play active role in any place we find ourselves. That's why we can come into the limelight. You don't have to say overnight you want to jump and become the deputy governor. You must have been showing some traits so that people know that this person is capable. And I'm from Oyo State too. So anybody from Oyo State, just tell the governor that there is a potential deputy governor here. And my husband is from.
Thank you, ma. Thank you very much, future deputy governor. So somebody asked a question on when does mediation come into sexual topic has to do with marital disputes, domestic violence, and sexual abuse. All of it was lumped together. The mediation comes in respect of marital disputes, also domestic violence. Sexual abuse is a felony under the law offense, but things like domestic violence, for example, some for lack of understanding, because I've mediated quite a number of matters that have to do with domestic violence, and since they know that the Lagos State government has zero tolerance for domestic violence, some of them have stopped completely, because usually after those mediation sessions, you need to follow up in respect of those women. Some that you don't even follow up, when they see you, they say, Madam, he's not beating me again, oh, thank you very much, God bless you. Some of them, but some, they are persistent, abusers. So those kind of matters, mediation doesn't always doesn't have to succeed. At times, mediation fails. So it's not all the time that mediation, you try your best and leave the rest. Then, in respect of compromise, also compromise has to do with marital disputes and sometimes domestic
sexual harassment. It's a very big issue in Ghana. Even at the bar, you see men, lawyers. When I was a younger lawyer, you see them touching your bums. You see them touching, you have beautiful chest. You have, they were at liberty to touch us anyhow. And included in that is when you need employment and they want to have sex with you before they employ you. In Ghana, we call it sexual harassment. Or the grades at the universities, you have to sleep with the lecturer before you get there. I mean, these are all things that we included in sexual harassment. And with AWLA Ghana, we've done a lot of research on it, sexual harassment at the workplace and academia. And maybe I'll send a copy to Mandy. We did it in 2004 or 5. The U.S. Embassy gave us the funding. And the results were amazing. It's all over the place. It's all over the place. Even marketplace, especially women that are upcoming, doing very well. That's a way of intimidating them, patronizing them, to remove their mind from business and take it to, all kinds of things. So we implore that there should be a sexual harassment law, but only the labor laws that mention a little bit on it's a crime to a certain level, but because I wasn't asked to talk on that, I could have gone to town the whole day on that. And then the domestic violence law that we have in Ghana is also talk a little bit about sexual harassment. And we are saying that we need a whole holistic law on sexual harassment because it's a big issue in Ghana. It's always on the radio, it's always on, people are always talking about it. And because we don't have any legal regime, we don't know how to deal with it. So sexual harassment comes in different forms, different phases, and it's there. It's different from this sexual abuse and all that. Some of them could be, yes, but they begin with sexual harassment. And it is wrong for anybody to touch your body without your permission or your consent. Don't take it for granted. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much for that. On the sexual harassment issue, there are certain forms of sexual harassment that actually can go to mediation. For instance, bullying. You know, in a way, you are office setting, or in the school. Between children, there is bullying that happens. From there on, you find that children can go to school, and for one thing or the other, a child is picked up, and certain things are said about that child derogatory to the point that the emotions are. These are attitudes that grow up, that blow up later into situations